Good afternoon. And so today I'm starting a new live series on how our environment and our habits can shape our bodies. And today we're going to cover how our sitting habits can affect our bodies. Because how we sit can create lots of imbalances in our bodies. And so, our first line of defense in making changes is to always address causes and become aware of them, one, and then learn how we can make adjustments to that and learn tools and strategies that can start unwinding some of those habits. So how are some ways that we might sit that can create imbalances in our bodies? And the environment would be our chairs that we're sitting in, of course. But, lots of people like to sit cross-legged. And what do we do a lot of times? We always go to the same one. So being mindful of that, because that can create imbalance in our hips and our knees. So, you can switch off every now and then, which is going to feel kind of odd, and just work on not crossing our legs. Our chairs can change how we sit, because we might go into our slump, which then puts us in this posterior pelvic tilt, where it's going to put a lot of compression into our back and compression up here and spill everything out. And over time, that's going to create, shortness in some areas, constriction in some areas, and length in some areas. So we have to then learn the tools after we, okay, I know I'm doing this, so I've got to sit up taller first. And then learning the tools to help offset those, how we take those areas that we've shortened down for a long period of time and lengthen them, and then strengthen the area that's gotten weak. Because that's what happens a lot of times is, one side will get slack and the other side gets tight. So we have to be able to release the tight side and strengthen up the slack side. And then some others, that we don't think about sometimes, is if we have a tendency to always sit, over on one side of our chair or our couch, you'll find, even if you have your legs down, a lot of times we want to lean onto our, armrest, and that shifts all of our weight over into that one side. So just to kind of see if that's something that's happening with your body, is try shifting your weight over to the other side and see if it feels like really sticky and tight. And then you're doing a lot of leaning to one side, and you might even be doing that in other things that we do. When we start talking about standing and other things, crossing one leg, because we typically have one leg that will always cross over, and so now that's creating some tension and tightness in our hip, some imbalance in our hips, and that's why a good test is when you switch and go to the other side. If it doesn't feel comfortable, that right away is going to show us that there's some imbalances there. And so those are just some of the few that that we can kind of look at on a daily basis that we might be doing just in our sitting. And if we think about it, let's say, we've been sitting like this, and then we go to get up and be moving. We go to get up and stand. Are most of us going to take the time to, okay, let me right myself and then stand up properly? Or are we going to kind of get up and then we're kind of shifting all of our weight into one side, which is then creating even more imbalances, and then we're going to be taking that into movement. So, thinking, my husband came up with a great phrase the other day. He said, think about how you position yourself to transition yourself. So, if we're positioning ourselves here and then we're going to transition into standing. Um, that's not a very good transition. You know, you can see the knees do all kinds of crazy stuff, the hips are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's always good to be able to transition ourselves from a neutral point. So those are just awareness things that we can kind of be aware of. And then, you know, where we come in handy is helping you learn the strategies and giving you the tools so that then you can start making changes to those, you know, where you can start creating strength into the weaker slack side that's been created from, you know, habitual patterns, and then releasing the area that's kind of tensioned down, which is going to, you know, make us move in out of balance. So, you know, if we're sitting out of balance, how can we expect to be moving imbalanced? So that's some of the things that we're going to be teaching a lot in our upcoming 12-week immersive program that we're starting. And so that would be a great thing to kind of jump in there and start learning those tools where you can, you know, be empowered on your own and have the tools that you need to get the body in balance. So that, as you know, the other thing is when we do these things over and over and over again, it creates a lot of wear and tear on our bodies, and over time that can create, you know, falling hazards, which can then lead to broken bones. It can mean that we're, when we think we're like doing these bone building strategies, if we're not positioned correctly, we're actually not building that bone. So then when we do fall, we have more of a risk of breaking bones. You know, just so that we can age and keep doing the things that we love doing, so that we can remain independent. Because I don't know about you, but you know, I want to be an independent mover and an independent person until I'm not here anymore, really. So, you know, learning those tools so that your body can be strong and balanced, so that you can continue doing all of those things that you enjoy doing. And learning, you know, as we age, we might have to do things a little different, but it doesn't mean that we should have to stop doing the things we do. We just learn smarter ways of doing it. So giving you those tools. So if that's something that you're like, yeah, I want to really learn how I can start moving smarter and empower myself to have, you know, to continue to be independent, check out down below, because we'll have a link where you can get into a discovery call with us to kind of learn a little bit more on that program. It's got some awesome stuff in it that that you can't get any other way than being into an immersive program and wrapped with other community. So look forward to talking to you guys. Hope that the information that we gave even starts the wheels running, so that you can start finding some of the things that create some imbalance and just start changing those, because just changing those is going to make a world of difference also. So talk to you guys next time.